Hello. This session I'm going to tell you how to create a button navigation, and I will also tell you how to use button navigation bar widget. What is button navigation bar? I will show you a picture. This is a widget that has 4 pages, and by clicking on each of them, the related page is shown to us. Just like the button navigation, which we have it Instagram application. When we click on each of the items, the page related to that tab should be shown to us. Of course, it is better to say that it is the button navigation bar, and I will teach you the tabs during the next sessions. Well, let's go to our project. The first thing I have to do here is that I should convert this stateless widget to a stateful widget. To this end, I have to press Alt and Enter on my keyboard. Now, in order to see the methods that are to be overwritten, I should click inside the class, and then I have to enter the codes. If you select Overwrite Method, it will show you several choices. It asks you about the methods you want. For example, we have the active, mounted, dispose, resumable. These are all the methods that you can overwrite. But they are not obligatory, and all of them are optional. We use init state and we press OK. You might ask, what is init state? When my launcher state is opened for the first time, init state is retrieved. Init state is run the first time, yes? And the second time, set state is retrieved instead of the init state. And init state will not be retrieved, and it is only retrieved when my launcher is run for the first time. And the second time, the build is retrieved. So we say super.initState. We ask it to do actually what init state does, yes? Init state is by default initialize the whole state of the widget. So what does it mean? In other words, it initializes and then introduces all the widgets we have here. When we're continuing in the project, you will understand it better. I will show them in your project. The word super refers to the task the parent of the class does by default. So let's continue now. We want to use button navigation bar inside this escape fold. To this end, we should define its body first. So we define the body. Suppose that its body is a widget. Besides setting the body, we ask it to create a button navigation bar. The advantage of this escape fold is that it has a button navigation bar in itself. I asked the program to create a widget named button navigation bar, and inside it I have to set the items. it can have a series of items, you know. But what are these items? They are actually a list of button navigation bar items. Yes. So we create a list of button navigation bar items. Button navigation bar item. And we create the list like this. And then we add all the button navigation bars we need inside this list. For example, I write button navigation bar item. So let me do this. I copy this so that you can make sure I have placed the same one here. We ask it to place a button navigation bar item with icon, and from the icons, I select add. And also, I add a title to it. And I set the title as a text. For example, and the name is add. Okay, that's it. Look here, it shows an error for me. It says that icons cannot be a widget. I have to introduce it as an icon and place icons.add inside the icon. So icons.add, I put it inside the icon. It's all right now. I can add all button navigation bar items that I want. Let me show it for you. Each of these are a button navigation bar item. This is one, this is the second, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. I make a copy of this, and then I paste it below. Instead of this add icon, I can use another icon. For example, I use close icon, and I write close. I can paste it and create one like this that we have. I can type the codes because I'm totally against copying the codes, but I want to increase the speed, and during the course I'm not going to use copying and pasting. .info outline, and I name it info. And I use a button navigation bar item which has an icon and icons, and I choose map, and then I choose a title for it, and the title is a text. So for example, I name it map. I have 4 items, but you can leave as many as items you want. For example, 5, 6, 7, 10, and they are going to be added here. The ones you add will be added to the list of items here. So as you see, I have 4 items. You can add as many as you wish. What is body? Let me show it again for you. Body is exactly from here until this part here. All this part is body. What should we put inside the body? We should use index stack widget. So we are going to use index stack widget inside the body. This widget has a children and it has also an index. We can change the index inside, and by changing the index, we can change the child too. So what does it mean? Let me show it to you so that you can learn it easily. This is index. For the index, we define a variable at the top, name, for example, enter index. Enter selected index, which I put it as 0. So we write enter selected index equals 0. We ask it to retrieve 0 index by default. Index 0 means the first page. Well, and we create a list of widgets. List of widgets means the list of actually the pages we have. We need, for example, 4 pages, and we want to show the pages. By clicking on the item, it is going to be shown to us. Each of these pages will be placed inside these lists. So we create a list of widgets and name it as page list. Which equals a list of widgets and we add our widgets to this list. And addition to the list should be done within init state. It means that we only need to add it once. So what should we do in order to add? We have to create 4 pages. How can we create 4 pages? In order to create these pages, we have to create a class. A file named page1.dart. And inside page1, we say class of page1, which is extended from a stateless widget. And here, as you see, there is an error. It doesn't know it. So we should press Alt and Enter, and it shows different choices for us. We select one of them, and actually there is no difference between the choices. I choose the material, and then we press Alt and Enter again, and choose the method to be overwritten. I want to set escape fold for us, and want to have a body for it. The body is actually a center, and the child of the center is a text. And inside the text, it is written page 1. Well, and we can also change the color of escape fold to make it more obvious. So we change the background color from color section. And for example, we choose blue. This is page 1. We are going to have 4 pages. We want to have an application that by clicking on each of these button navigation bar items, that page is shown to us. Well, we create the other 3 pages like this. I name it page2.dart, and the class of page2, which is extended from the stateless widget, and I click here and import the material needed and overwrite the function and place an scaffold here. And inside it, I set a center widget as the body of scaffold. And inside that child of the center, I place a text. Let me put them. So I place a text, and inside text, it is written page 2. And the background of the scaffold is chosen as pink. To create pages 3 and 4, there is no need to write codes, and I copy these and paste them, and I edit some parts. For example, this is page 3, and change this to page 3, and also I change this one to page 3, and I change this to page 3, and also it is better to change the color. For example, I'm choosing green. And again, I add another page named page 4. And something as a tip, in order to simplify the task and increase the speed of our project, I copy the codes of page 2 and then paste it here, and then I press Ctrl+R on my keyboard in order to replace the word page 4 with page 2. So we are choosing the word, and it is going to replace all these words. And now we press replace. We could have pressed Ctrl+R in the beginning in order to replace all of them. And I change the color to pink to gray. Well, now I add each of these pages to page list. So page list.add, page 1, page 2, and I should continue this until page 4. The application says that it doesn't know this page. We should click on it and press Alt and Enter on our keyboard to see the suggestion. It should suggest me to import the library of page 2. So it asks us to import the class of page 2. We write import page1.dart, and then I make a copy and write for the other pages. I'm going to do this for page 3 and 4 too. Here I add numbers 2, 3, and 4. If I scroll down, you will see that it will know page 1, 2. Yes? Now I copy them and add pages 2 and 3. Page 2, 3, and 4. and we tell the application to bring us the selected index as the default index. Which is actually 0. We should set a children for it. And we ask it to use page list as its children. So instead of creating a children, it is going to use page list as its children. You know that page list is actually a list of widgets, and we enter it here. Well, so we have to do another task now. We should come here and arrange the settings related to button navigation bar here, yes? What should we do? We ask it to set a type for button navigation bar. Let me write it here. And we write button navigation bar type dot. We put a dot here. Remember, we have two types. One of them is shifting and the other is fixed. Shifting acts just like shift. And if you click on each of them, for example, if you are here and you click on the second one, it is going to go to the other side. Yes, it is going to shift to the other side. You can see that it goes from this side to the other side. And this blue color goes to the other side. But if we use fixed, it directly goes to the other side. I will describe the differences inside the project. So here, the first item we are using is fixed. Now, we set a current index for it. We set a default page for this button navigation bar. That is the correct current index. And this current index actually chooses selected index. And when we click on each of these button navigation bars, what will happen? We should write on tap. Actually, on tap means when we are clicking on something, what will be the action? As you see here, there is an error here. It gives us an index now. It means that the index that you clicked on that now. When we are clicking on each of them, it gives us the index now. We set index now as the selected index here. So selected index is index now. After doing this, we ask it to retrieve the build again, which means retrieving set state. So in order to show what we have done, I get a build from the project. Since I've gotten a build from the project before, I should hot restart in order to start the program again. So we have to wait a few moments. Yes, as you see, it is hot restarted. If you pay attention here, selected index is 0 and it shows page 1. When we click on page 2, it should show us page 2. And just like that, when we click on page 3, it should show us page 3. And when we click on 4, it should retrieve set state and it should show us page 4. Now, because the type of the navigation bar was fixed, you see that it shows the page without any shifting. But if we change the fixed mode to shifting and then press Ctrl S for hot restarting, we can see that the mode of bottom navigation bar has changed. And it is mixed because I have changed the state, so I have to start the application again. And when you press Ctrl S, it only retrieves build, but by restarting the app, all the items and widgets are created again. Now we have to wait a few moments for the restart to happen. Now you can see that the shifting mode is still there, but the problem is that you cannot see the items. Let's see which parameters are introduced to us. We can use selected label style, we can choose a background color, or we can say or we can, for example, choose selected item color. I say that selected item color is for all the items which are selected. So I write selected item color. I'm choosing a color for all the items that they are selected. For example, I choose the black color. Or we can set it green and then choose the unselected items as black. So this is green and unselected item color is they are black. Now we press Ctrl and S on our keyboard and then we can see the changes. As you can see that the items we haven't selected them are black and items which we have selected has turned to green color. Now I click here and it is, as you see, it is on shifting mode and it goes from this side to the other side. And also it changes the size. This is shifting mode. So you've understood the difference between shifting and fixed mode. And we have also learned about selected item color and unselected item color. This was all about the bottom navigation bar, and I hope you've enjoyed this session. Goodbye.